Robert, let's get into the master plan a little bit more and then into solutions.
Okay.
Studying this, what makes the globalists tick? Why do they enjoy doing horrible things to people? Why do they enjoy pushing eugenics? And what will the world look like if they're successful?
Well, you're a great example. You've presented a great example of what they're like. You snuck into the Bohemian Grove and you videoed the ceremony. You got some people that are involved in medieval thoughts, and this is done every day in their operations. They just happened to meet there at Bohemian Grove, and also I was really proud of you when you approached
David Gergen.
David Gergen, and he says he dishonors you or something like that.
He got mad, yeah.
Yeah, but it takes people like you to...
Well, somebody had to do it. But the thing was, I didn't really believe they were doing that completely when I snuck in. I snuck in to see.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there watching the ritual, and I thought, well, this maybe is like a play. But the old men around me were very agitated, breathing heavy. This was more religious than, going to Baptist church growing up and holy rollers, getting really excited and praying and, getting wild. This was religious rapture. I mean, they were really into this at certain points. That
was a formal ceremony. That was not a stage show. And that's just a micro example of what's going on throughout the world. And these people get involved in trafficking of drugs, trafficking of young children, trafficking of women throughout the world.
And it even comes out in Congress, and Rumsfeld says they're not going to get in trouble. We're going to let DynCorp do it. And then anywhere you walk into an Acorn, you go, I got 12-year-old sex slaves, and they go, great. I mean, that's how mainstream this is.
Yeah, and that was another great expose there where they snuck in or just walked in and pretended to be a prostitute and a pimp.
I've always told my listeners, get hidden cameras, go into any city council, any government group, any CPS, and these people are so lawless and so criminal. I mean, look, if you can steal kids with no due process all day, there's going to be something wrong with you.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, the few times I go to the Capitol, I catch bribery on tape. The government is so corrupt. It's like a rotten barn. You pull one plank off, there's termites anywhere you look.
That's right. And they try to keep it under wraps, but every now and then it'll come out. But then they put a spin on it, saying, "Well, no, that must be fiction. That doesn't really happen. That's not us." But we know it is.
Well, you've studied societies, how they go into these cycles. We're clearly going into a very decadent cycle. Can you describe what you, from your deep research and the other experts you talked to and interview for your book, believe is going to happen, A, and B, get into what's happening with the dollar?
Okay, first of all, the creation of the American Union was scheduled for January 1st, 2005, and Dick Cheney said that in a video that I have, and where David Rockefeller congratulated him for his talk, but he said we're on track to create the American Union, or they call it the Council of the Americas, by January 1st, 2005. He really meant the American Union. But
and by the way, on that same clip, he's so arrogant. He goes, "I didn't tell my constituents I was doing this," and they all laugh at us. It's real funny that he can do this on C-SPAN, knowing his constituents in Wyoming aren't watching C-SPAN.
That's right.
I mean, every meeting I watch of these guys now, they laugh at us. It's funny.
But they have been planning this. In fact, I've got the minutes of the first Bilderberg meeting in which David Rockefeller talked about world economy at that first Bilderberg meeting in 1954 and the planning of the creation of the European Union. And so they have very long-range plans. They don't do what's going to happen this quarter or this month. If it slips a little bit, say, well, we'll do it next year or next 5 years. But
long-term strategic planning.
That's right. And it's like the frog in the pan. As you gradually turn the heat up, the frog is cooked before he knows about it. and they're doing that to the public. And they know that if they are too aggressive, that people will fall out in the streets by the millions and maybe bring out some guillotines.
But they're now rolling out the sound cannons and the microwave guns in the Fed rallies.
Yeah. Well, the Patriot Act and several other things that they continually try to take our freedoms away from us and try to make us all seem as though we're evil people, we're terrorists, and I think you probably have talked about FEMA saying that they've got a list of people that are terrorists.
Yes, or sympathizers, and we've all got to be put in camps. Yeah,
and so you and I are probably deep on that list, and so.
Oh yeah, they won't give me my FOIA for my FBI file. It says national security. And national security, I can't see what lies they've got in there about me.
Well, legally, you should be able to go to the FBI and see your records.
No, exactly. I've talked to a lawyer where I'm going to have to sue him.
Yeah. But there's all sorts of garbage in there, and you and I have very thick files in the CIA and the FBI.
Oh, of course. They study what we're doing. I've noticed Glenn Beck and others are now copying all the terms I use. Yeah. Like we've got to stop the fall of the Republic, the New World Order. But then they're doing that so he can be in control of the opposition and lead them and control them.
Right. And they have these stooges out there to try to drive us in one direction or another. And they try to appear to be one thing, but they're really the other.
Robert, again, back to the dollar. We were talking during a break. Do you think this is the rush to the exits? Do you think this is the beginning of the death of the dollar?
There's no question about it. They'll end up with the international monetary system. I don't know what they'll call it. In the European Union, they call it the euro. In I believe Africa, they call it the Afro or something like that. But they will create one money system, and it all be created electronically. And so if you are not within their system, you won't be able to spend money. And eventually they will try to go to implants, so that if you don't have an implant, and then you can't spend money.
Well, that's what Rockefeller told Aaron Russo. And he said, our license plates, our chips, everything, we're going to be above the law. All of you are going to be slaves. And that's actually what they're implementing now, where they're reading our license plates in real time everywhere.
That's right.
Tracking everything we do. This is outrageous.
And on the streets in London, there are thousands of cameras all over London. And they're doing it here. And they say that they're putting them on the freeway so that they can control traffic. It's also so they can tell where you're going.
Well, they admit that now, but I actually have an article here in my stack from today where, look, how China's yuan can become the new global currency. There's one article. But look at this. Cameras keep track of all cars entering Medina. City signs have a unique way of greeting people. For instance, motorists are told they're entering a special place where people care. And it goes on to say the cameras have recently been installed in intersections to monitor every vehicle coming into the city under the automatic license plate recognition project. Once a car enters the town, a camera captures its license plate number. Within seconds, the number is run through the database. And I noticed 10 years ago they announced this in Florida and a few other towns in Texas. I've seen the federal orders. Every state in the union for at least 7 years, everything you do is tracked.
Right.
Everywhere you go is tracked. And they can read hundreds of plates a second, and it has nothing to do with stopping crime. You notice they never use it for crime. This is a Homeland Security grid.
Right, and if you don't think they can do it, go to some of these intersections where they have a camera, and anyone that runs a red light, they'll within a week or so they'll get a ticket, and because they have the ability to read the license plate and go into their database and know exactly who you are.
That's right. Like out in California, I see the old big flash bulbs that go off. They don't need that anymore. They don't need the flashing systems at night to take a photo of your car. Now it's license plate reading. And then here's another one, News 10. Sheriff's Department responds to sonic device outrage. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department Tuesday responded to News 10's report that a new sonic weapon known as long-range acoustic device, LRAD, that the technology has been used to control crowds in Iraq and control insurgents, and it's now in the Sheriff's Department's possession, being used at the Tea Party rallies.